Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. 1, carbs. 2, proteins. You want the main source of your daily macros and your meals to be protein if you are trying to build muscle and stay lean. There are a lot of people that can eat carbs as their bulk of their diet and do really well. Carbs give you all of your energy and the ability to have good workouts and to stay focused and awake throughout the day. But at the same time, if you have too many carbs, you could spike your insulin and crash later in the day and feel kind of drowsy. And carbs will also cause you to put on weight. Depends on your body type and how your body responds to the different diets. I mean, for me, I have about 50 grams of fats a day, and I have 100 and some carbs a day, but I'm going to try fluctuating the amount of fats, carbs, and proteins every week or every other week. I make sure that proteins are the bulk of every meal. So I make sure that I'm either drinking a protein shake, eating a lot of meat, or some form of protein bar or vegetables with my meals. And when I'm eating a snack, I make sure that it is high source in protein as well, unless it's fruit. Fruits are pretty carby, but there are also good carbs and bad carbs. So there's good complex carbs that may be high in numbers but are pretty good for you, like brown rice, your fruits like bananas, peaches, blueberries, cherries. Or bad carbs are gonna be like white bread, regular pasta, cereal, processed food. Even like peas are straight starch, so I wouldn't recommend eating a lot of peas or a lot of bananas. And another thing with carbs is that there's good times and bad times to eat carbs. Bad times to eat carbs would be right before you go to sleep. Good times to eat carbs would be right after a workout so that you can replenish your body, give your body some energy back, and you can burn most of them off. With proteins, a good time to eat protein is, all day, every meal. When you should be having protein for sure is after a workout if you're trying to build muscle, later in the day. And personally, I would start the day off with a good source of protein so that you start off on the right track and you maybe aren't as hungry throughout the day. In my opinion, I would make sure that 50% or 75% of your meals are protein-based, and then have a little bit of carbs, vegetables or fruits, and maybe some fats too. A lot of meats do have fats, but personally, I don't pay as much attention to my fats as my carbs. What works for me is keeping a really low carb intake and eating really high sources of protein, but at the same time, I have to have enough carbs that I have energy and the ability to focus throughout the day and get really good training sessions in. So in the morning, I'll have, say, 2 pieces of 7-grain sprouted bread, so they're like 11 grams of carbs a piece, so they're really low carb for bread. And I put on peanut butter. I'll cook an egg white and I'll put it on the piece of peanut butter bread. That is one of my favorite meals. 10 o'clock or so, I'll have some fruit or some nuts or maybe even some vegetables, and then I will have lunch. So my lunch is usually my protein shake plus a meal. So my meal would be like mostly meat and then some vegetables. And that's pretty much it. Like normally I eat deer meat because we just have a lot of deer meat in my house and it's really good for you. Otherwise, I'll take chicken or pork or Italian sausage, whatever it is, but I'll have meat and vegetables for lunch and then maybe some brown rice, but usually I don't eat carbs with my lunch. I just do meat, veggies, and my protein shake. And since I like to get in a lot of protein, I usually do 1.5 to 2 scoops of protein if it only calls for 1 scoop. So I do a little extra with that. But with protein, make sure you're drinking enough water with it because it can be hard on your kidneys if you aren't flushing out, how do I want to say that? It can be really hard on your kidneys if you aren't drinking enough water. Mid-afternoon, I will have another snack, whether that be a little Greek yogurt cup or some nuts and fruit again, or some celery sticks with peanut butter, whatever it may be. And then at supper time, when I finally get home and I'm hungry, I'll eat whatever I want to make for supper. And usually, if I don't eat carbs for lunch, I'll have some more carbs for supper. So like yesterday, I had a little red potato, which is about 26 grams of carbs. And then I made Italian sausage with spinach, tomatoes, mushrooms, and onions, and garlic. And I just cook it up in a pan and I put it over top of the baked potato and it's fabulous. But so yeah, that's basically how I take my days. I eat a lot throughout the day because I like to keep my metabolism sped up. So I have breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, or 2 snacks, and then supper. I would definitely say if you want to be really strict with counting your carbs and proteins to use a macro counter like MyFitnessPal or LifeSum. The only thing is that I don't want anybody to get into that mentality that you have to meet these numbers all day, every day to have the perfect body that you want, because that's not true. In fact, I don't count my numbers every day and I don't count them strictly when I do. I just make sure that I'm in the general vicinity of that number. So if I'm 10 or even 20 grams of carbs over, I'm like, okay, it was a good day, that's fine. The one main thing that I just really make sure is that in every meal I am having mostly protein and vegetables, and then a little bit of carbs on the side. And I don't always have carbs with every meal. I try to eat carbs with 2 of my meals throughout the day because sometimes my snacks are kind of carby. And so normally I'll pick breakfast or lunch to do just protein and fats. And then when I come home for supper, when I'm done for the day relaxing and I want to just eat, that's when I'm a little bit more lenient. I don't eat unhealthy suppers, but I make sure that I'm getting in my carbs, fats, and proteins all in that meal because I most likely didn't have carbs for breakfast or lunch that day. My best advice for you would be to make sure that you're eating protein with every meal, and preferably in your snacks more so than carby snacks, and making sure that you're still eating carbs for at least 2 of your meals a day, but keeping the carbs, good complex carbs like brown rice and whole grain pasta. Or if you are eating, say, like a potato, making sure that it's a smaller one. Also, being cautious of just snacking throughout the day. You have to make sure that you're not eating too many or too much of a carby fruit in a day. So not eating 2 or 3 bananas a day. If you're gonna eat a banana, I would eat it after a workout or maybe right away for breakfast if you like that on peanut butter toast or in a shake, but I wouldn't have more than 1 banana a day because they are high in carbs, and even though they're better carbs for you, they're still carbs and they add up quickly. So if you're eating fruits all day, that's great, but if you end up throwing in a potato with a meal and noodles in another meal and bread with another meal, you're gonna be way over on your carbs. Try to stick with wholesome, good, natural food, things that grow in the ground, grass-fed beef, homemade meals. Stay away from boxed meals. Keep away from late night snacking. You should probably try to stay away from juices for the most part. I rave about Bings because they're natural energy drinks that only have 10 grams of carbs, and they taste amazing, they give you energy, and they're not bad for you. They're not packed full of sugar and stuff like that. They just have a few carbs and the rest is vitamin C. Fruity juices, if they're not real natural ones, they are straight sugar. Even if they don't really taste sugary, or if you think that the ingredients are okay, all that they are is sugar and carbs. Same with pop. Pop is sugar and carbs, so I'd stay away from that. Alcohol is one of the worst things that you can do to your body when you are trying to stay fit. All alcohol is carbs. So really with carb intake, I would just be watching your numbers, kind of cutting down how often you're snacking, what you're snacking on, and how much carbs you are putting with each meal. Start cutting down your portions, and if you don't want to cut down portions, start cutting the amount of carbs that you have with each meal, and start getting your primary source of every meal from proteins and vegetables. Make sure that you're still getting in enough calories, but watching the intake of your carbs and fats. I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant, so I started cutting out cheese and ice cream and milk years ago, but I know that dairy is in a lot more than just those three things, so I'm gonna switch to a dairy-free protein. My supplements are all dairy-free. I want to see if the littlest amounts of dairy and other products that I haven't cut out yet are causing the irritation or sensitivity in my stomach some days. And I also just know that it is good to not have dairy, a lot of dairy in your diet anyways. And also, since I'm prone to acne, I want to see if maybe cutting out dairy will help clear that up a bit, so I'll keep you all updated on how that goes for me in a couple of weeks. I'm sorry my glasses have been glaring this whole video. I was gonna take them off, but then I had the red lines in my face and whatever. But anyways, I hope that this was somewhat informational for you guys. I'm just kind of displaying my knowledge for you, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it and can take something away from it. Please do not forget to subscribe. Follow my Instagram as well, and if you have any other questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. But other than that, I will see you next time.